everyone, welcome back to the channel. This trip we find ourselves way up in the northern part of Virginia. We're up here headed, well, at the end of the week we're headed toward the Expo East. So we thought we would come up early, do a little hiking on the way up in Grandfather Mountain, do a little trail riding up here in, I guess, the George Washington National Forest. And we've been spending the week in Williamsburg, just seeing some of the historic sites and things. But today we're headed on a special trip over to Corolla Beach, North Carolina. Now this is, we saw this on YouTube and didn't know much about it, but it's a beach we can drive on if you've got a four-wheel drive rig, and there's wild horses there. So this ought to be a fun day, as long as the coastal water levels will let us get over there. So stay tuned and we'll show you what we get into. Well, as you can tell, we had to get on the back road to get around that house because the tide was still in too far, and we weren't sure if we should try going around it in the surf. This is our first time driving on sand like this, so we're a little bit nervous, and the thick sand on the back roads didn't help those nerves either. As we got closer to the Virginia state line, which is the turnaround point, the beach kept getting narrower and narrower and the sand thicker and wetter. But unfortunately, we forgot to film any of it. After the turnaround, we decided to detour on the back road again to bypass that sketchy strip of beach. Well, I'm not sure that was the smartest thing to do because the sand on the back road was very thick also. We made it through everything with no problem, so that ought to get our confidence up before we go to Cape Lookout later in the week. This is an exciting drive, and the only disappointing thing so far is that we haven't seen any wild horses, maybe on the way out. We also want to take a little time to play around and enjoy the beach, but we didn't buy a beach parking permit. I'm not exactly sure why you need one, or if they will check for it, but if we stop, it'll be brief. Well, we're about to head back. Hope you enjoy the trip out. How you like driving on the beach?
Man, it's fun. It's a lot like that red mud I'm used to driving in. So it's a familiar feeling up under my wheels. Safe.
we're on our way to the bottom of the Banks, as far as the road will let us go, to Cape Hatteras. And how about that beach drive? Wasn't it amazing? Corolla and Cordova beaches were definitely the highlight of the day. Driving on the sand with the tide in so close was quite intimidating at first, but once we got used to the feel of all that sand underneath the tires, it was really quite fun. And we didn't even know this existed while planning our trip. We just stumbled upon it on YouTube and decided to check it out since we were going to drive the Outer Banks anyway. So thanks to all of our fellow adventurers who post their trips so we don't miss out on any of these unique places. Our only disappointment seemed to be the lack of wild horses we'd heard so much about. Then, all of a sudden, a dark spot in the distance gave us just the excitement we thought we'd missed out on. Just before we reached the exit, there was one lone horse walking towards us on the beach. It was almost like he stopped just to pose for the camera. It was truly an exciting moment. It was a great way to cap off this beach drive. There's also beach driving down at Cape Hatteras, but since we're limited on time, we decided to skip on getting a permit for that area. We'll just have to plan a return trip so we can drive, camp, and possibly ferry over to Ocracoke Island, which we're going to have to miss out on this trip. And as we let the final song play out, we'll show you some of the sights along the way that piqued our interest, as well as the beach at Cape Point. We hope you've enjoyed the video and invite you to tune in for our next video as we spend a few days at Cape Lookout. As for now, keep it on the road less traveled. Dusty Buns Overland and Adventures.